This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Serena Williams lost her opening round doubles match Tuesday in the Berlin Open. Williams and her doubles partner Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic lost 6-4 and 6-4 to Juliana Olmos of Mexico and Erin Routliffe of New Zealand. This was Serena's second competition since coming out of retirement 2 weeks ago. The Compton native will continue her comeback in the doubles competition at Wimbledon, which begins June 29th in London. The 44-year-old Serena will play the doubles with her sister Venus. Today is Venus's birthday. The Compton native turned 46. Television ratings for this year's NBA Finals doubled the numbers generated in 2025 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs averaged 20.6 million viewers over the 5-game series. OKC and Indiana drew an average of only 10.3 million viewers in their 7-game series. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. In my prior commentary about Destination Crenshaw, or Procrastination Crenshaw as we call it around here, I opine that sometimes neglect becomes a decision. I want to challenge my own neglect becomes a decision thesis in just a moment. This $100 million revitalization project was supposed to transform 1.3 miles of Crenshaw Boulevard into a world-class celebration of Black art and culture. It was first promised to open in 2023, then 2024, and here we are, still waiting, still suffering. The businesses along this corridor, Black-owned businesses, are suffocating. Construction chaos everywhere, shuttered storefronts, a community being bled dry by broken promises. So, I stand by my earlier formulation that neglect becomes a decision. But as I have thought more about the gross negligence, the incompetence on steroids, it occurs to me that sometimes neglect isn't just a decision. Neglect is the default position of some Black electeds. Not all, but some. They just don't believe that Black folk deserve the very best. They don't believe that we deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. So we go from being constituents on the campaign trail to collateral once they're sworn into office. And when, for example, one is termed out of office and can't run again, but is still clutching the gavel of power, one thinks that he can stay comfortably above the fray while we anguish for years on end. The apparent attitude is, I'll just leave this mess for the next person to clean up. That's what it feels like, Mr. President, Mr. LA City Council President. But it's not just him, it's the local media too, Black and white, corporate and independent. Look at how little has been said about this never-ending nightmare in Crenshaw, year after year after year. Nobody at City Hall and nobody who's supposed to be holding City Hall accountable seems to care one bit about the safety and security of Crenshaw residents and the Black business owners who are slowly being strangled. Don't be fooled. This isn't just a construction delay. This is what disrespect looks like with a budget attached. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA.
Jackson Jr., welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It is Wealthy Wednesday on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I am live in Los Angeles, California, and I do mean it is hot as Hades here. Something that only the mind of Dante could imagine. KBLA Talk 1580. However, even in this heat, we are bringing it. It's turning 5, and we're celebrating with you. Join all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts this Friday, June 19th, for our anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration at the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m. There will be food, there will be drink, there will be a DJ, dancing, games, and much more. Plus, L.A. Mayor Karen Bass, the one and only Lunel, the Grammy Award-winning artist Kenny Lattimore, and a few other surprises. The Beehive is the place to be this Juneteenth, and our community celebration is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com. And we're encouraging folks to ride share. But however you arrive, just get there. We look forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary with you this Friday, and I'm honored and privileged to be back in Los Angeles. It's Wealthy Wednesday on our show, and Dr. Wilmer J. Leon, political scientist whose primary areas of expertise are Black politics, Black policy, and American government, is our worldwide regular host. For years, at least 11 of them, Dr. Leon was a lecturer in the political science department at Howard University in Washington, D.C. Hey, Dr. Leon, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
As always, good afternoon. A pleasure to be with you, and good afternoon to the audience. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Dr. Leon, listen, we only got a couple of minutes before we come forward in our program, but KBLA is celebrating on the one end its 5th anniversary, but the nature of the Juneteenth holiday is also a commemoration. On the same day, at the same time, the Barack Obama Presidential Library is celebrating the opening of the Obama Center on the south side of Chicago. But at the same time, it too is in the midst of a commemoration, given the significance of what Juneteenth actually means in the experience of African Americans. Dr. Leon, your initial thoughts.
Well, I've been saying for a while that in terms of our politics, we've always got to factor a little bit of physics into the analysis, and that is Newton's 3rd law of motion. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And so for all the progress that we've made and that we continue to make, we still have so long to go, because the government or other forces always want to respond, want to react, want to push back to the steps that we make towards equality. And so when we think about Juneteenth, we have to remember the role that the U.S. colored troops played in our liberation in Texas. We have to remember why Juneteenth is necessary or to celebrate. It's because not everybody in the process wanted to give us our freedom. As planters and slaveholders in defeated southern states were trying to decide what to do, many of them took their enslaved Africans and moved to Texas. So it is a great thing to see that the Obama Center is opening. The question there is going to be, what is the long-term benefit? What is in it for us? And we have to be sure, as we liberated our freedom, we've got to be sure that we hold them accountable to be sure they deliver for us.
You know, as Black people, we often talk about partying with a purpose. In fact, I got that term from Tavis Smiley. We have to have one foot in the party and one foot in the purpose.
Always.
I mean, it is always one foot in the celebration and one foot in the commemoration, one foot in the party, one foot in the purpose. And, you know, equally as fascinating, what occurred at the UFC, which we can come to when we come forward. Here they're celebrating 250th anniversary of the United States, but at the same time insulting the First Lady of the United States, the former First Lady Michelle Obama, and it's just outrageous. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. We're live in Los Angeles, right here at KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
There is no denying that we've always been the conscience of this country. KBLA Talk 1580 is progressive talk radio built for our community, by our community, and with hosts who look like you, live near you, and care about what you care about. 50,000 watts of truth right here in Southern California. KBLA Talk 1580. Listen live on your AM radio dial at 1580 or stream us live on our KBLA1580.com website or on our free KBLA 1580 app.
Unapologetically progressive.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it.
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God.
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest worldwide with Dr. Wilmer Leon. Dr. Wilmer Leon is not only a political scientist, he's the host and producer of a nationally broadcast radio talk show, Inside the Issues, with Wilmer Leon on Sirius XM Radio, Channel 126. He's the author of Politics, Another Perspective, commentary and analysis on race, war ethics, and the American political landscape in the age of Obama. Dr. Leon, welcome forward to the show.
As always, a pleasure.
Dr. Leon, 1 foot in the commemoration, 1 foot in the celebration, 1 foot in the party, and another foot in the politics. Just yesterday, the federal government, as we prepare to celebrate Juneteenth, seeks to halt the first U.S. reparations program for Black people. The federal government on Tuesday asked a judge to halt the United States' first reparations program that offered Black people in a small Illinois city $25,000 for 20th century race-based housing discrimination, joining an existing lawsuit that called the program unconstitutional. The program launched in Evanston, Illinois in 2021 is the first and only one of its kind in the United States, allotting $20 million to Black residents, their direct descendants, who lived in the city between 1919 and 1969 and suffered housing discrimination because of city ordinances, policies, or practices. Residents, regardless of race, who experienced discrimination due to the city's policies or practices after 1969 also qualified. The city has already distributed over $7 million using revenue from local tax on legal marijuana sales to hundreds of people in $25,000 increments to be used for home repairs, down payments on property, and interest or late penalties. The U.S. Department of Justice called the program, quote, racially discriminatory in a court filing Tuesday, saying that it violated the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution because it allotted different benefits on the basis of race. This is the first of potentially thousands of such programs. The Department of Justice is seeking to establish a precedence so that other cities, states, localities, corporations, and others will no longer have to follow along this route. Dr. Leon, your initial thoughts?
Oh, man. Is there never any end to the depths of their stupidity? Residents, regardless of race, who experience discrimination due to the city's policies or practices after 1969 also qualified. So that's one point. The other point, I think, is it's a remedy based upon a previous collective harm. So if you look at this in the context of a class action suit, who are the members of the class and why are they in the class? What did they have to suffer, endure, or what were they subjected to? What was the common theme, thread, or element that enables them to be in the class? It's discrimination based upon a harm. And the harm happens to be race. It's not that the remedy is indiscriminately singling out race. It's looking at an action by the state that targeted a group of people for a particular reason and is providing them a remedy. This one should be summarily dismissed, thrown out on its face, rejected because it's idiocy to the highest degree.
You know, let me ask you a question, Dr. Leon. We see in Altadena, we see, for example, in Brother Tavis Smiley's editorial commentary about the disrespect of Crenshaw. He calls it procrastination Crenshaw. We see a pardon for 1,500 January 6 rioters. We see a weaponization fund that sought to, if you will, compensate these criminals who ran into the nation's capital and were appropriately duly convicted of their crimes. And yet, whenever it comes to any past harm or injustice that has occurred to us and our people, there is always delay, there's always denial, there's always evidence that this system is just not going to remedy anything that pertains to us.
It's a eugenical, if I can make up a word, Dr. Chantella Sherman, if I can make up a word, it is a eugenical basis of white supremacy and racism. And there's no length to which they won't go to demonstrate and to protect their whiteness. That's as simple as I can. That gets down to that's the common thread that runs throughout all of this.
Doc, as we prepare to go worldwide, why don't we look at the elections from yesterday for just a moment, because I think you have some astute insights on some of the takeaways in Georgia, Alabama, and Oklahoma. And I might add that there is breaking news just handed to me by my producer. Governor Kemp of Georgia has now canceled, within the last hour, canceled the legislative session that Barbara Arnwine and I discussed on this show to redraw major African American, two of them, majority minority districts in the state of Georgia. The pressure felt by African Americans and people of goodwill in the state has now forced the governor of the state of Georgia to cancel efforts to redraw the lines of these majority minority congressional districts. It's all the same subject matter. Your thoughts and your take on yesterday's elections, Dr. Leon?
Well, first of all, that demonstrates the fact that, yes, when we do respond and when we are consistent and when we are determined in our resolute in our responses, we can have impact. When you look at, I think, the outcome of these primaries, what I think you're going to find in the general election is that Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, they may have won the battle, but they've lost the war. And what I mean by that is, yes, the MAGA movement still holds incredible sway within the Republican Party. But I think the broad defeats that they are going to find themselves facing during the general election is going to demonstrate that the country has had enough. And as the head of the Tom Tancredo, who was the head of the Tea Party, which I believe was the precursor to the MAGA movement, once said, "We want our country back." And I think, Tom Tancredo, we may be on the road to taking our country back.
I think that's great news. I think one of the challenges that confronts us is whether or not our story is penetrating at the time of this celebration, while at the same time we are commemorating amongst white people. Is that the case? Do you sense that at all, Dr. Leon?
I'm sorry. Do I sense? I missed that.
Do you sense that our concern is broadly accepted beyond just our community in terms of the legitimacy of the argument that we're making?
To a certain degree, I would say yes, but I don't know that we should celebrate that one too early or for too long. Nor do I think we should really spend a lot of time being concerned over that. What we need to be concerned about, and where our focus needs to be, is on us and our interests. Those that want to join us, y'all are welcome. Those that don't, we'll just run through you as you try to stand in our way. That, to me, is the mindset that I think we need to be bringing to this conversation.
I was particularly impressed with the number of white people that I saw holding signs calling redistricting in Georgia racist. And
remember what Dr. King warned us about in Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community? He said, don't trust the white liberal, because they have more in common with our oppressor than we want to recognize. He said they are more than happy to spare us the brutality of the lash, but when it comes to granting equality and justice, we can't depend on them. So I know the optics that you're referring to, and I don't say this to say you're wrong. What I'm saying is we cannot take solace in that optic. We have to remember the warning from Dr. King.
That warning is too apparent in a congressional district in the state of Florida, where a white liberal has now declared that they are running for Congress in a majority-minority, newly redrawn congressional district designed to give an African American, in light of all that's going on with the Voting Rights Act, an equal opportunity to serve in Congress. The white liberal with the money, with the infrastructure, with the seniority has now moved into the African American district because their district has been obliterated by the Calais decision. They are now seeking to represent Black people in Congress.
There you go.
To preserve white liberalism. Couldn't be any clearer than that. Dr. Leon, if we can pivot to worldwide, there's a lot going on in the Middle East. Donald Trump is proud at this moment to announce a memorandum of understanding between the United States and Iran. You have quite a different take.
Well, they're calling it an agreement. It is not. It is technically a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, but I'm calling it a MOM, an MOM. It's a memorandum of misunderstanding because nobody knows what the heck is in it, first of all. And there still seems to be an incredible debate between what Donald Trump wants to stand at the G7 and claim victory for, and what Iran is saying, oh, no. In the words of that brilliant African-American philosopher, Whitney Houston, oh, hell to the no, Bobby, hell to the no. They're saying,
it's to the no.
They're saying, no, Donnie, dum-dum. It ain't working like that. What this honestly is, in all seriousness, unconditional surrender. Donald Trump took the United States at the behest of Israel into a battle and got thumped. As much as they don't want to admit it, they don't want to talk about the damage that was done. This was a whipping. And what it really demonstrates is the power of the resistance movement. Iran is a part of the resistance movement against imperialism and neocolonialism. And they got thumped.
There is much evidence to suggest that the reasons that we were told were the basis for the conflict were satisfied long before the escalation of the conflict with that midnight raid on so-called nuclear sites within Iran. We're still there. Iran, in the 14-point agreement that I read, at least 8 of those points favored exactly what the Iranians themselves have asked for. We have relinquished essentially control of the Hormuz Strait, which means that Iran can again offer a chokehold to the global economy at its whim, should the United States or Israel not honor its commitments. And the agreement also includes the conflict that is taking place in Lebanon, recognizing essentially that Israel is America's proxy in the region, and should Israel continue to strike at Lebanon, the agreement quickly folds. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More with Worldwide with Dr. Wilmer Leon when we come forward, right here at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Tropical Storm Arthur has officially formed.
The main threat from Arthur is going to be a prolonged multi-day heavy rainfall event.
The National Hurricane Center expects it to weaken quickly after landfall tonight, but Florida's panhandle still faces flash flooding, fast-moving tornadoes, and dangerous rip currents. The historic Howard School in Georgetown, South Carolina is getting new life as an administrative office for a Head Start program. Built in the 1800s, it was the first publicly funded school for Black students in Georgetown. Restoration work preserved parts of the original building while expanding space for early childhood education. And Stevie Wonder and Bruce Springsteen are among the stars set to perform at the grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center this Thursday in Chicago's Jackson Park. The lineup also includes Jennifer Hudson, Common, Mark Anthony, and more. The Obama Foundation is a nonprofit collaborator of the Black Information Network. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Red Card penalty. Score big flavor with Baba Grill's new Red Card combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings, and a refreshing penalty punch for a beverage with mango popping boba. An all-star lineup for just $9.99. Only at Baba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Serena Williams lost her opening round doubles match Tuesday in the Berlin Open. Williams and her doubles partner Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic lost 6-4 and 6-4 to Juliana Olmos of Mexico and Erin Routliffe of New Zealand. This was Serena's second competition since coming out of retirement 2 weeks ago. The Compton native will continue her comeback in the doubles competition at Wimbledon, which begins June 29th in London. The 44-year-old Serena will play the doubles with her sister Venus. Today is Venus's birthday. The Compton native turned 46. Television ratings for this year's NBA Finals doubled the numbers generated in 2025 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs averaged 20.6 million viewers over the 5-game series. OKC and Indiana drew an average of only 10.3 million viewers in their 7-game series. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavish Smiley. In my prior commentary about Destination Crenshaw, or Procrastination Crenshaw as we call it around here, I opine that sometimes neglect becomes a decision. I want to challenge my own neglect becomes a decision thesis in just a moment. This $100 million revitalization project was supposed to transform 1.3 miles of Crenshaw Boulevard into a world-class celebration of Black art and culture. It was first promised to open in 2023, then 2024, and here we are, still waiting, still suffering. The businesses along this corridor, Black-owned businesses, are suffocating. Construction chaos everywhere, shuttered storefronts, a community being bled dry by broken promises. So, I stand by my earlier formulation that neglect becomes a decision. But as I have thought more about the gross negligence, the incompetence on steroids, it occurs to me that sometimes neglect isn't just a decision. Neglect is the default position of some black electeds. Not all, but some. They just don't believe that black folk deserve the very best. They don't believe that we deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. So we go from being constituents on the campaign trail to collateral once they're sworn into office. And when, for example, one is termed out of office and can't run again, but is still clutching the gavel of power, one thinks that he can stay comfortably above the fray while we anguish for years on end. The apparent attitude is, I'll just leave this mess for the next person to clean up. That's what it feels like, Mr. President, Mr. LA City Council President. But it's not just him, it's the local media too, black and white, corporate and independent. Look at how little has been said about this never-ending nightmare in Crenshaw, year after year after year. Nobody at City Hall and nobody who's supposed to be holding City Hall accountable seems to care one bit about the safety and security of Crenshaw residents and the black business owners who are slowly being strangled. Don't be fooled. This isn't just a construction delay. This is what disrespect looks like with a budget attached. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
Junior, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We're worldwide with Wilmer Leon, and it is hot as Hades here in Los Angeles. Finally got here to Los Angeles for the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. We are turning 5 and celebrating with you. Join all of us at KBLA Talk 1580 this Friday, June 19th, for our anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration at the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m. Food, drink, a DJ, dancing, games, many, many more opportunities for a lot of fun. Plus, LA Mayor Karen Bass, the one and only Lunel, the Grammy Award-winning artist Kenny Lattimore, and a few other surprises. Beehive is the place to be this Juneteenth, and our community celebration is free, but you must register at KBLA Talk 1580. That's KBLA1580.com. And we're encouraging folks to rideshare. But however you get there, just arrive. How about I really messed that up? But however you arrive, just get there.
There you go.
Celebrating our 5th anniversary with you this Friday. Dr. Wilmer Leon is our very special guest. He is the author of Politics, Another Perspective, commentary and analysis on race, war ethics, and the American political landscape in the age of Obama. He says today we must have 1 foot in our celebrations, 1 foot in our commemorations, 1 foot in our party, and 1 foot in our purpose. Dr. Leon, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Again, thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Always an honor.
Dr. Leon, let me ask you a quick question. One of the issues that you felt compelled to discuss was one of the Jewish senators, Senator Bernie Sanders, has sought to change, if not strip language out of the Defense Appropriations Bill, I think, as well as the authorization bill, that would forever and permanently tie the U.S. military to the state of Israel. Dr. Leon, your thoughts.
I had someone ask me earlier today, looking at the latest developments with this so-called MOU or MOM, the Memorandum of Misunderstanding. To get to the point, this conflict between Netanyahu and Trump, and what does that mean relative to the relationship between the United States and Israel? And I said, you can't conflate the two. This scuffle, this kerfuffle in terms of the bromance between Netanyahu and Trump, that's just two egomaniacal degenerates that are feuding with each other. You can't confuse their fight with the alliance and allegiance between the two countries. So when you read that there are entities within the United States government that want to put into the military spending authorization bill a deepening integration of the militaries between the United States and the Israeli armed forces, that is an incredibly frightening reality. Because, well, let me.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Doc, in suggesting that such an idea is the equivalent of making Israel the 51st United State, and therefore the integration becomes so perfect that they know what we're doing anywhere in the world, we know what they're doing anywhere in the world, and that includes activities outside of the scope of constitutional protection, because it is not the 51st state in the United States.
That'd be a hard point to deny, and anybody challenging that observation would have a hell of a time supporting their argument, because where else has this been done? Who else has done this, and why is it being done? And there's another element to this that I think is tangentially related. General Motors now is looking to form an alliance with not Northrop Grumman, but Lockheed Martin, because General Motors wants to get into the defense space. What signal does that send? It sends a signal that General Motors must see growth in the defense space, not contraction within the defense space. So some may see those two things as being totally unrelated. I don't think they are. Who is the United States as now a failing empire? Who is it looking to align itself with, and why is it seeking those alliances? And also, that's not only a foreign policy question, it's a domestic policy question. Because when you look at a lot of the software applications that the IDF has created, and how the tactics and the practices that the IDF is employing against Palestinians, who in the United States do you think is going to be victimized by this relationship? Try Black people and other people of color. There's nothing good there. What's the upside for us? Why would we want to do this? Whose interests are being served? And then pay attention to who would vote for this madness. Hakeem Jeffries, would you vote for that? Since you're on the AIPAC payroll? Gregory Meeks, would you vote for that? Since you're on the AIPAC payroll? Kamala Harris, would you back a play like that? Since AIPAC gave you $6 million for your presidential campaign. I think those are legitimate questions that have to be asked. What is the upside? Why would we want to do this? How do we benefit from this? Who will be victimized by this?
Dr. Leon,
this is that we've got to ask.
There are definitely questions that we need to ask, and I can't thank you enough for that small and brief technical difficulty that we just had for keeping the show moving forward. It is hot as Hades right now in Los Angeles. And I have got to believe that our internet connection, along with our water and other things, are profoundly impacted by that. More on KBLA Talk 1580. We're worldwide with Dr. Wilmer Leon. Thank you, Dr. Leon.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Hi, I'm Chris Holden, former California Assembly member, former mayor of Pasadena, and CEO of LA Fire Justice. I've spent my career fighting for our communities. When I saw Edison celebrating $4.5 billion in profits while Eaton fire survivors struggled to make ends meet, it made me simultaneously sick and furious. Families and individuals are dealing with financial pressure, insurance delays, costly remediation, and the painful question of how to rebuild their lives, while the utility that caused the fire is paying its executives millions and is more profitable than ever. That's not justice. That's a disgrace. Join the lawsuit with LA Fire Justice to hold Edison accountable. We're here to help you, your family, and our community recover. Visit lafirejustice.com today to learn more about your eligibility and how to start.
Advertisement. Douglas Boxer, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. I want to thank our producer as well as Taz and Miles and others who handle behind the scenes the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, including but not limited to major technical difficulties that we have sometimes, and the speed, Dr. Leon, within which they respond to these amazing technical difficulties to which no one can personally be responsible for. But these guys are all real professionals, and I'm grateful for their leadership. Dr. Leon, let me throw something out at you. I know this is our final segment. Between 1619 and 1863, there were 157 July 4ths. Just another day in the life of the Negro slave. Just another day in the life of the Negro. We don't even know what they're celebrating between July 4th and 1863, or certainly the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. We just know that on one side of town, white folks are celebrating something, and we are laboring in the fields and under profound oppression, profound heat. The irony, of course, is nothing short of tragic. And when we look at, for example, the celebration that Donald Trump attempted to carry off at the White House, or carry out at the White House, including the unkind, disgusting, and disrespectful comments made about the First Lady by a professional wrestler at that event, it occurs to me, with the overwhelming response on this Juneteenth / July 4th, the opening of the Obama Presidential Library and Center stands as a stark contrast between the reality that they are trying to perpetuate about America and the reality that is promise, the hope, the possibilities of what we can be. It's almost like on their side of town, there is some kind of charade that's taking place, but on our side of town, it is always coming to terms with the reality of the absence of equality, the absence of fairness, and in a real sense, unlike any other July 4th in American history, every July 4th, I've always argued in all of my writings, is simply different. But we do have an interpretive narrative that is emerging on this July 4th, unlike any other, and that is the substitution in our minds of the nonsense that this administration represents and the reality of the hope and the promise that is and that was under the Obama administration. You've written about this in Politics, Another Perspective, Commentary, Analysis, and Race, War and Ethics, and the American Political Landscape in the Age of Obama. If you had to make an amendment or add a new chapter to that book today, what would your thinking be?
I would start my analysis with Frederick Douglass's What to the Slave is the 4th of July, when he says, I am not included within the pale of glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. That's where I would start the conversation.
That's a good launching pad.
That's where I would start the conversation. Those comments made about former First Lady Michelle Obama, it's not, well, of course the comments are despicable, but you then have to ask yourself, why? Why at that event, the Obamas haven't been in the White House for over 10 years, 15 years. Why'd you have to take that shot? And then look at the reaction by some of the individuals of the administration, not all, but some, that just giggled it off, laughed it off, saw it as humorous. What would make someone feel so comfortable that they'd be okay and think that it's okay to take that kind of shot at a former first lady? But again, we celebrate Juneteenth. We celebrate the opening of the center in Chicago, as we should. But again, we can't get lost in the celebration that we can't get so lost in the celebration that we lose sight of the mission.
The Negro is a product of a duality. I think Martin Luther King Jr. in Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community talks about the dual nature of what it means to be an African American. As you well know, W.E.B. Du Bois talked about the dual nature of the Negro, both African and American.
The Tunis.
The Tunis. He called it the Tunis, yes. We only have a few more moments before the close of our show. Can you share with us your insights on the duality, the Tunis, if you will, the hybrid nature, the synthesis that has created the American Negro, Dr. Leon?
Whoa. You need to call Dr. Anthony Montero on that one, a mind greater than mine. But I would, it is a challenge, but a blessing at the same time. As African Americans, we have, I believe, an incredibly unique worldview. Mac Jones talked about in his note to the Black political scientist, he talked about the fact that we as Black political scientists have to develop our own Weltanschauung, our own worldview, and that our analysis has to come through the prism of the unique history that we as Black people in this country have. So it is a challenge, but it is such a blessing at the same time. The problem is that too many of us now believe that we've become part of the process. We believe that we have, in fact, reached that point of liberation because some of us have the financial or the material benefits or have achieved the material status and gains that we have. And so we now turn and operate as individuals instead of understanding the power and the demands of the collective. We have never made progress in this country as individuals. We have always made progress in this country based upon the collective. It's not about the you, it's about the us.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. While this may be the nation's 205th anniversary, this is our 250th anniversary. This is our 5th anniversary here at KBLA Talk 1580. Looking forward to seeing everyone at the Beehive this coming Friday. More when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Tropical Storm Arthur has officially formed.
The main threat from Arthur is going to be a prolonged multi-day heavy rainfall event.
The National Hurricane Center expects it to weaken quickly after landfall tonight, but Florida's panhandle still faces flash flooding, fast-moving tornadoes, and dangerous rip currents. The historic Howard School in Georgetown, South Carolina is getting new life as an administrative office for a Head Start program. Built in the 1800s, it was the first publicly funded school for Black students in Georgetown. Restoration work preserved parts of the original building while expanding space for early childhood education. And Stevie Wonder and Bruce Springsteen are among the stars set to perform at the grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center this Thursday in Chicago's Jackson Park. The lineup also includes Jennifer Hudson, Common, Mark Anthony, and more. The Obama Foundation is a nonprofit collaborator of the Black Information Network. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Red Card Penalty. Score big flavor with Baba Grill's new Red Card Combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings, and a refreshing penalty punch for a beverage with mango popping boba. An all-star lineup for just $9.99. Only at Baba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Serena Williams lost her opening round doubles match Tuesday in the Berlin Open. Williams and her doubles partner Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic lost 6-4 and 6-4 to Juliana Olmos of Mexico and Erin Routliffe of New Zealand. This was Serena's second competition since coming out of retirement 2 weeks ago. The Compton native will continue her comeback in the doubles competition at Wimbledon, which begins June 29th in London. The 44-year-old Serena will play the doubles with her sister Venus. Today is Venus's birthday. The Compton native turned 46. Television ratings for this year's NBA Finals doubled the numbers generated in 2025 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs averaged 20.6 million viewers over the 5-game series. OKC and Indiana drew an average of only 10.3 million viewers in their 7-game series. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. In my prior commentary about Destination Crenshaw, or Procrastination Crenshaw as we call it around here, I opine that sometimes neglect becomes a decision. I want to challenge my own neglect becomes a decision thesis in just a moment. This $100 million revitalization project was supposed to transform 1.3 miles of Crenshaw Boulevard into a world-class celebration of Black art and culture. It was first promised to open in 2023, then 2024, and here we are, still waiting, still suffering. The businesses along this corridor, Black-owned businesses, are suffocating. Construction chaos everywhere, shuttered storefronts, a community being bled dry by broken promises. So, I stand by my earlier formulation that neglect becomes a decision. But as I have thought more about the gross negligence, the incompetence on steroids, it occurs to me that sometimes neglect isn't just a decision. Neglect is the default position of some Black electeds. Not all, but some. They just don't believe that Black folk deserve the very best. They don't believe that we deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. So we go from being constituents on the campaign trail to collateral once they're sworn into office. And when, for example, one is turned out of office and can't run again, but is still clutching the gavel of power, one thinks that he can stay comfortably above the fray while we anguish for years on end. The apparent attitude is, I'll just leave this mess for the next person to clean up. That's what it feels like, Mr. President, Mr. LA City Council President. But it's not just him, it's the local media too, Black and white, corporate and independent. Look at how little has been said about this never-ending nightmare in Crenshaw, year after year after year. Nobody at City Hall and nobody who's supposed to be holding City Hall accountable seems to care one bit about the safety and security of Crenshaw residents and the Black business owners who are slowly being strangled. Don't be fooled. This isn't just a construction delay. This is what disrespect looks like with a budget attached. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Junior Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA. Talk
Junior. Welcome to KBLA Talk 1580. We are turning 5 years old, and it's our anniversary, and we're going to be at the Beehive this coming Friday because we're celebrating with you. Join all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts this Friday, June 19th, for our anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration at the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m. Food, drink, a DJ, dancing, games, and more. Plus, LA Mayor Karen Bass, the one and only Lunel, the Grammy Award-winning Kenny Lattimore, and a few other surprises. The Beehive is the place to be this Juneteenth, and our community celebration is free, but you must register at kbla1580.com. And we're encouraging folks to rideshare. But however you arrive, just get there. We look forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary with you this Friday. Welcome to the Politics of Our Faith with Reverend Dr. S. Todd Yeary. Dr. Yeary is the principal of the Yeary Firm, a Maryland-based litigation and government relations firm, and also serves as senior pastor of the Douglas Memorial Community Church of Baltimore and affiliates. Dr. Yeary is also the former chief executive officer of the Rainbow Push Coalition, the international human and civil rights organization founded by my father, the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. It's one of the few times I've ever referred to him as the late, and it's harder and harder every single time. Dr. Yeary, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Always good to be with you. These are the moments where Reverend's guidance would be certainly relied upon heavily.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And I'm so grateful for the work and the contribution that you made to the Rainbow Coalition, to being his advisor, his lawyer, and a very thoughtful contributor to his thinking. Towards that end, there is a new Fed chairman. And today, the Fed defied President Trump's pressure to hold interest rates steady in Kevin Warsh's first vote as chair. Your initial thoughts, Dr. Yeary, on Donald Trump's influence at the Federal Reserve?
Well, economics is a thing, quite honestly. It's not just Kevin Warsh's first Fed meeting where he chairs the decision about interest rates, but it was a unanimous decision. So it wasn't like his nominee, now his Fed chair, abstained or voted no. He was right along with everybody else. And so I think we will have to watch. There are some changes in terms of how the report is issued, what information is given. The details we'll have to certainly keep an eye on. But for now, it shouldn't surprise us that they held course. I think some folks were maybe even anticipating they might raise it a bit after last month's interest rate or inflation rate data. So we'll see.
Dr. Yeary, I think it was Maya Angelou who said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And Donald Trump, over the course of his life, not just this administration, he has shown a bias towards race. He has shown a bias towards not delivering or believing in the truth. And he is so consistent on the question of race and so consistent in his untruth that I can now reflect honestly, if I put my best and strongest scholar hat on, that everything that comes out of his mouth has race consequences and race implications. When the president of the United States says he believes interest rates should be lowered, that tells me something is bad in it for black folk. If Donald Trump says raise interest rates because I don't believe him, that tells me that raising interest rates is bad for black folk. If he tells me something is good, I gotta believe it's bad. If he tells me something is right, I gotta believe it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Yeary, the president's amazing consistency gives me a broad reflection on the nation's race crisis. I know we only have about a minute before we come forward, but please tell me I'm exaggerating.
Look, our dear departed ancestor Maya Angelou and Big Mama were right. expect nothing from a pig but a grunt. Some things are just.
Our time, we got to go right to break right now. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. We're grunting our way into Juneteenth. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on KBLA Talk 1580 and the politics of our faith with Dr. Reverend S. Todd Yeary when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Y'all did it!
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, the Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Rizza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
When the story gets twisted, who's going to tell the truth? When they cut the microphones, who's still talking? When history gets rewritten, who remembers what really happened? We do. KBLA Talk 1580. Black media isn't just important right now, it's essential. Because when mainstream outlets move on, we stay. When the headlines ignore our communities, we don't. When decisions are being made that affect Black lives in our schools, our neighborhoods, our economy, KBLA is in the room. This is more than radio. This is a lifeline, a record, a rallying cry. Black stories, Black voices, Black power.
The heat is on!
On the air and in the culture. KBLA Talk 1580. Stay connected, stay informed, stay loud.
Stand up!
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the need. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the need. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. This is the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. We are in the politics of our faith with Reverend Dr. S. Todd Yeary. Joining us Also in this hour is none other than Reverend Dr. Michael C.R. Neighbors, Senior Pastor of the historic Second Baptist Church in Evanston, Illinois. The 140-plus-year-old church is one of the oldest African-American congregations on the North Shore. Since arriving at Second Baptist Church, Dr. Neighbors has sought to continue leading the church in its historic role as a trumpeter for Christ and as a social justice advocate in Evanston and Metro Chicago. Dr. Neighbors is joining us in the Politics of Our Faith on the regularly hosted show of Dr. S. Todd Yeary, in large measure because the Department of Justice on Juneteenth now seeks to halt the only reparations program in the United States that is effective on the scale of that which Dr. Neighbors has been fighting for. Dr. Neighbors, Dr. Yeary, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr.
Thank you so much, Jesse. Happy to be here.
Dr. Neighbors, what's going on in Evanston? The Department of Justice is cracking down on the idea of reparations for Black people.
Well, Jesse, so much is going on, and obviously we have not been taken by surprise with this. So we have had a lawsuit that has been leveled against reparations program since 2003. I will also say that we have had a bevy of meetings, including Zoom meetings with lawyers from around the country. Our last one was just a couple of days ago, where over 20 lawyers came together to discuss strategy and how to respond to what we knew was coming down the pike with the present administration. So, I personally believe, Jesse, that racism is the root cause for the Trump administration's challenge to our reparations program. It is nonetheless amazing to me that a racist president and administration would argue that repairing damage caused by racism would somehow be wrong. So I am here to share that the narrative is not going to be shifted. This narrative that we have in Evanston will not be shifted. We are engaged, as we know, against a cataclysmic battle, against a malevolent and cruel philosophy that seeks to hide its immoral actions against people of color. So reparations has done so much in Evanston since we began in 2019. We've been able to give out $7.6 million to African Americans who have been damaged by racism, specifically in the area of housing. We know that is really not much. It's just a drop in the bucket. You can never pay for the damage that has been done, but it is an important start.
Dr. Yeary?
Well, good to be with Dr. Neighbors. He is certainly at one of not only the most established, but credible religious institutions when it comes to the interests, not only of Black people, but of all people in the country. Certainly, I am mindful of just thinking about as that bill was moving through the Evanston City Council at the time. I was still working very closely with Reverend Jackson. And I was in Evanston one night for one of the meetings and ran into one of my seminary professors, who also was one of my guideposts during my dissertation work while I was at Garrett Seminary, and that would be Dr. Larry Murphy.
Oh
And
my!
so when we consider what this is, before the break, Jesse, I mentioned Big Mama said, expect nothing from a pig but a grunt. On one hand, a few weeks ago, there was this great debate about trying to settle a lawsuit against the IRS to establish a $1.776 billion slush fund to benefit mostly white offenders who actually took the Capitol under siege. There's a separate immigration framework for white South Africaners to come to the United States by way of a privileged point of access. And so let's not miss the forest for the trees. This isn't a hint at racism. This is the champion of white supremacy sitting in the White House saying, not only am I not only going to throw you a hint, I'm going to put it so much in your face that on one hand, I'm going to have the Department of Justice pull out of the consent decree against the Louisville Metro Police Department in the killing of Breonna Taylor. dropped charges against officers who helped with the fiasco that led to a stale search warrant that contributed to her death, and then turn around and say, oh, by the way, we're going to intervene. I'm going to put the full weight of the United States Law Department in a lawsuit against the city of Evanston because somehow remedying the harms done by racist policy, actually put in writing, now is somehow an affront to the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. It is offensive on its face, and we have to be really, really clear that this isn't some one-off. This is the new normal that we've got to be ready to push back on.
Dr. Neighbors, Dr. Uri touches upon the idea that we are commemorating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Too many of us know too much about the idea that all men, and yes, a friendly amendment from Elizabeth Cady Stanton, all women are created equal. But Dr. Uri just went through a long train of abuses, one of which ended up in Evanston under your leadership. This 250th anniversary celebration, as African Americans, we are still, as Dr. Uri just laid out, from Breonna Taylor to the present, looking at a long train of abuses.
Jesse and Dr. Uri, you're absolutely right. And when we think about the history of our country and celebrating 250 years, we cannot leave out the fact that racism has been very much interwoven into the very birth of our nation. So it started with foundational exclusivism. As we know, the United States Constitution declared that we were 3/5 of a person. It went on to the Confederacy and the Lost Cause that occurred with the Civil War, another form of racism. At the end of Reconstruction in 1877, due to the Missouri Compromise, we have the beginning of the Ku Klux Klan, which is another form of racism. We have Jim Crow laws that were established after that. We have a second kind of Klan and nativism that was born in 1915 when it expanded its hatred towards Catholics and Jews and immigrants, and at the same time gained a number of white support from everywhere. So for me, the history is very, very important going right into our modern times. But Jesse, all of us as people of color and families have our own individual stories as well. And my story is related to my second great uncle, James Ampey, who was hanged from a tree 9 miles north of Richmond, Indiana in 1885. The report was that he committed suicide, but the oral history that has come down through our family is that he was actually lynched because he was very much an advocate and focused upon the important need for Blacks from the South to find work and to find a decent place to live in Southern Indiana. So this is not only important for me as an advocate for civil rights and justice for Black people, but it's also extremely important for me and my family. And we all have similar stories like that.
Dr. Uri, a chilling effect with the Department of Justice challenging the Evanston Ordinance, by definition, designed to discourage other municipalities and other struggles for reparations in light of the long train of abuses and inconsistencies that we've seen just within the last 6 months of the Trump administration, where they have sought to provide various forms of reparations to white folk. Dr. Uri?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what else you want me to add to that. It's kind of like yeah.
I guess I should have put it in the form of a question, right?
yeah.
Am I wrong?
Okay, yeah. Look, that's the way this administration operates, and we knew that going in. This is not, some very recent development in the character profile of the current occupant of the White House. It is a behavior that has shown up in his business practices, in how he has run the United States government or run it in the ground, whichever you would decide to do. Let's not forget that he turned a public health emergency into a death spiral and a debacle for many poor communities and communities of color before he left the White House the first time. And so we have to remember that he's not going to change. Now, what we have to also remember, and this is a conversation that we've had before, is Dr. Neighbors knows, because there's the challenge. The challenge is litigation. We are back in a test case framework. The Supreme Court keeps dropping hints, particularly through Justice Thomas, that there are certain things that the court has stood by for over a century that the court needs to revisit. Many of those things that are being pointed out were the protections of what happened with Black folks, particularly at the end of the Civil War. Now, the end of, quote, slavery, that's a debatable point in time. But at the end of the Civil War, contrary to the way they want to rewrite history, the North won. What you have is Southern sensibilities, the Confederate sensibilities rising again through their champion, and their champion is Donald John Trump Sr. And so we've got to be really, really clear that it's not the person, but the principle. And we've got to be willing and ready to fight. So we need actually plaintiffs to be able to challenge this government every chance we get. And the lawyers need to sign up all hands on deck so we can be front and center in federal courts across this country, making the government stand by its obligations.
Dr. Neighbors, Dr. Uri is both a pastor as well as a full-time practicing lawyer. He has 1 foot in the pulpit and 1 foot in the courtroom. Dr. Uri, just yesterday, I had Liz King on our program, and she was talking about recent changes at the Department of Education, including but not limited to the idea that civil rights enforcement will no longer be done by the Department of Education. They're moving the department to the Department of Justice. That's also civil rights enforcement on disabilities, civil rights enforcement on every conceivable education issue will no longer be remedied by what's left of the department, but will be remedied by the Department of Justice. Dr. Uri, are there some concerns that we should be focusing on as a result of this strategic move?
Well, there are a number of other strategic moves. For the last decade, I just finished my term as chair of the Community Relations Commission for Baltimore City, which is our civil rights commission. Typically, there would be an agreement between the EEOC and local enforcement offices around how many cases would be processed. Now what we're getting, instead of requests to hand off cases, the EEOC is actually recommending that folks take their cases directly to the local agency because they're not taking them. Now imagine an EEOC that is not accepting discrimination complaints and saying, oh, by the way, we're not taking it. Go take it to the local entity that has less resource, less capacity to be able to handle all of these complaints. And so they are not only deferring, but I think they are preparing to shut down anything that looks like civil rights enforcement by the federal government, because that's just not in their self-interest, which we know what that self-interest is.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. The Department of Justice has now seeks to halt the most effective reparations program in the area of housing in the village of Evanston, Illinois. And one of the leaders of the movement to make that case relevant for African Americans during this Juneteenth celebration and for all time has been Dr. Michael Neighbors. He joins Reverend Dr. S. Todd Uri in the Politics of Our Faith right here on Wealthy Wednesdays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward right here on KBLA.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A person of interest is in custody after last week's cross burning in Chicago's Grant Park.
And the impact was devastating.
Mayor Brandon Johnson condemned it as a symbol of hate. No injuries were reported. A man later told NBC5 he was responsible, claiming it was meant as a protest against President Trump and his policies. Black Washington, D.C. Councilmember Janice Lewis George is leading the Democratic nomination race for D.C. mayor. Results released Tuesday night show her with nearly 53% of the vote, while Kenya McDuffie, who is also Black, trails by more than 15,000 votes. Lewis George will win the ranked choice primary if she stays above 50%. President Trump has threatened to exert more federal control over D.C. if she is elected. And Isaiah Hughley has made history as the first Black mayor of Columbus, Georgia. Unofficial results showed the former city manager with more than 51% of the vote over City Councilmember Joanne Kogel. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Red Card Penalty. Score big flavor with Baba Grill's new Red Card Combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings, and a refreshing penalty punch for a beverage with mango popping boba. An all-star lineup for just $9.99. Only at Baba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Serena Williams lost her opening round doubles match Tuesday in the Berlin Open. Williams and her doubles partner Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic lost 6-4 and 6-4 to Juliana Olmos of Mexico and Erin Routliffe of New Zealand. This was Serena's second competition since coming out of retirement 2 weeks ago. The Compton native will continue her comeback in the doubles competition at Wimbledon, which begins June 29th in London. The 44-year-old Serena will play the doubles with her sister Venus. Today is Venus's birthday. The Compton native turned 46. Television ratings for this year's NBA Finals doubled the numbers generated in 2025 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs averaged 20.6 million viewers over the 5-game series. OKC and Indiana drew an average of only 10.3 million viewers in their 7-game series. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
Let's do this. We're heading into one of the most important election seasons in a generation. And with so much on the line, your healthcare, your economy, your neighborhood, you deserve more than sound bites. You deserve the full story. KBLA Talk 1580 is your trusted voice for political coverage, commentary, and conversation. From local races to national headlines, we bring you the insight and perspective you need to make sense of it all and make your voice heard. Between now and November, a lot will happen. A lot will change. But one thing won't. KBLA Talk 1580 will be right here, keeping you informed, keeping you engaged, and keeping it real. KBLA Talk 1580, the place for politics.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
We are closing in on the 5th anniversary of KBLA and the 250th anniversary of the United States. Our very special guest in the politics of our faith on this Wealthy Wednesdays is none other than Dr. S. Todd Yeary. Dr. Yeary's social justice work includes having served on the national board of the National Action Network from 2015 to 2021, the past political action chair for the Maryland State Conference of the NAACP, and as co-founding principal of Community Churches for Community Development and the founding principal of SALT, Strategic Advocacy and Legislative Think Tank, a faith-based public policy collaborative that works on regional and national empowerment strategies impacting disaffected communities. Dr. Yeary, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Oh, we're in deep water today, my friend, but that's how you operate. So glad to be with you.
I appreciate you so much. Our very special guest, Dr. Michael C.R. Neighbors, is the senior pastor of the historic Second Baptist Church in Evanston, Illinois. Dr. Neighbors teaches homiletics and qualitative research and theological writing at Garrett Evangelical Theological Seminary in Evanston, Illinois. Of importance is Dr. Neighbors, too, is a regular contributor on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, and he is receiving dozens of calls today from reporters from all over the country asking questions about the Department of Justice and their desire to halt the nation's first and most effective reparations program for the descendants of slavery and the descendants of racism that can be proven and verifiable in the city of Evanston. Dr. Neighbors, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show and Dr. Yeary's show, The Politics of Our Faith.
Jesse, thank you so much. And Dr. Yeary, I'm happy to be here and to contribute and to talk about reparations in the best way possible.
Dr. Yeary, what are the reporters calling and asking you? What kind of questions are you fielding?
You mean Dr. Neighbors?
Dr. Neighbors. I do apologize. Dr. Neighbors, what kind of questions are you fielding?
Well, I think the primary questions are, what is the response to the investigation from the Justice Department? And as you all know, a press release occurred with the Justice Department yesterday, arguing that they believe that it is illegal for there to be reparations in Evanston, and their contention is flawed with so many different issues. But obviously, one of the things that they say, Jesse, is that under the pretext of paying reparations for events more than 100 years ago. Obviously, we know that is not the case. There's a span of time where Blacks in Evanston were able to prove that racism occurred and damage happened with regard to housing from 1929 all the way to 1969. So that's certainly not 100 years ago. And another thing that they contend, which I think is really which is really amazing, is that they say that the Constitution demands that government treat citizens as individuals and not as members of a racial class. And I'm not exactly sure what Constitution they're reading, but we know that Black people in this country have always been treated as a racial class. And that is also true for our Indigenous brothers and sisters. It's true for our Mexican brothers and sisters. It's true for our Chinese American brothers and sisters, our Japanese American brothers and sisters. We did not label ourselves with races in arriving in this country. We were labeled and we have been treated as such since our arrival in 1619. So we have so many ways of being able to fight their allegations. But I think the bottom line is that our fight against them is that they are attempting to destroy and discredit and take away the growing reparations effort that is taking place around the country. Jesse, I was just in Fayetteville, Arkansas, of all places, last week, and Fayetteville, Arkansas, in the Ozark area of that state, has started a reparations program, and they're already beginning to pay out to Blacks in Fayetteville for some of the damage that was done due to racism over the years. Roanoke, Virginia, and Palm Springs, California, and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Asheville, North Carolina, and Amherst and Boston, Massachusetts. So many places, local reparations is working. It's making a difference. It is increasing a better relationship between Black and white residents in all of these metropolitan municipalities. I think that's what the government does not want to happen, and that's what the U.S. Justice Department is seeking to stop, because when we are united, we are much stronger than when we're divided.
I don't think it can be any clearer for that for our listeners. Dr. Neighbors is the pastor of a major church in Evanston, Illinois. Dr. Ure, let me ask you a question that was raised by Dr. Neighbors in his analysis. Since when has the Constitution of the United States not taken race, for example, or not applied to groups of people? For example, the 13th Amendment is clear on the question of race, of class, and caste. The 14th Amendment, there was a race problem on the question of equal protection under the law. It affected classes and it affected a caste within the United States. The 15th Amendment is very specific to African American men, but it applies to many more Americans as a result of the denial of the right to vote. The 19th Amendment looks at gender, it looks at race, it looks at class, it looks at caste. Since when has the Constitution of the United States and its respective and subsequent amendments not applied to groups of people and not just individuals?
When there was a dollar sign attached to it.
It doesn't get clearer than that. But go ahead, Doc.
This is about what it's always been about, the money. It was about the money when enslaved Africans were brought here to create free labor for the benefit of private white male interests. Let's just be real clear. The economy, the early economy, the agricultural economy of the United States as an infant nation was built on the backs and by the sweat of folks who were held as chattel. Let's be real clear. You don't have to go back 100 years to find that there are probably still some states who have on their books, just because they didn't follow through administratively, that there are exclusive laws on the basis of race that precluded admission to state-run universities. Let's be real clear. So, if we were to get Pauli Murray's book on the catalog of race laws in the United States, she actually, before her passing, just a brilliant lawyer, compiled those laws. Let's stop playing this game that somehow or other this is not codified somewhere. Slavery would be permissible until 1808. That's real clear. That is in U.S. policy. Oh, by the way, but 1808 did not lead to the automatic termination of that period of trafficking in human bodies. And so when we look at this, what we actually have is this dissonance that this administration is putting before us, saying, don't worry about this part of the history, because that's the history we're trying to erase. We're going to hold on to this part of the history that says You don't resolve racial harms by racial remedies. And if that's the case, then I would then ask, you talk about this whole thing around groups of people in the Constitution, not just Constitution, but how the US government has advocated. When survivors of the Holocaust were seeking reparations from Germany, the United States was amongst the biggest advocate because of the harm that was done. Now, when they have to confront the man in the mirror or the country in the mirror at its 250th anniversary, they now want to pretend that somehow or other this is all just a figment of our imagination and there is no obligation that the current government has to do right by Black people. It is an affront and an offense, and we should reject it wholeheartedly by showing up in mass numbers for every election, including for dog catcher if necessary, to let them know we didn't come to play and we're not taking no for an answer.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We're in the politics of our faith. But Dr. S. Todd Yeary, our very special guest, is Reverend Dr. Michael Neighbors. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener, like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to it at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. These are hard times for housing in America. Too many in our community face barriers to safe housing, behavioral health care, and affirming spaces for healing, particularly those impacted by poverty and stigma or incarceration. Rooted in South LA, Ahmad supports impacted communities through housing, wellness, and leadership development. Ahmad provides culturally responsive, peer-led support from transitional housing and mental health services to leadership development and youth empowerment. They offer safe, affirming houses for youth, transgender women, and formerly incarcerated individuals. Therapy and peer support with a focus on healing trauma in Black communities. HIV prevention and care, free testing, education, and wraparound services for whole person wellness. Standing in the gap with health, housing, and hope. Reach out to Ahmad Institute at 323-569-1610. That's 323-569-1610. Or visit amaad.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids.
JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
It's the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. Looking forward to joining everyone at the Beehive this coming Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. Very much looking forward to that. In this hour on Wealthy Wednesdays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, we are in the politics of our faith with Reverend Dr. S. Todd Yeary. Our very special guest in this hour is Reverend Dr. Michael C. R. Neighbors, Senior Pastor of the historic Second Baptist Church in Evanston, Illinois. He's joining us in large part because the Department of Justice has now threatened to shut down their reparations program, an ordinance that was passed to help the descendants of those profoundly impacted by housing discrimination in the city of Evanston from 1619. From what's the date, Dr. Neighbors?
1919.
From 1919 to essentially the present. Dr. Neighbors has been not only the president of the NAACP in Evanston, but also Trenton, New Jersey, as well as Princeton, New Jersey as well. Dr. Neighbors, I do have a question for you. With all of the cities that you've listed that have followed the leadership of Evanston as a result of the successful ordinance that you've led and that you've advanced, why are you not afraid?
Well, Jesse, I think that's a good question, but I come away with a couple of immediate responses. One of them, of course, is biblical. I believe that it was Jesus who said, "Perfect love cast out all fear." It is not that I have found or discovered perfect love, but I believe that a connection to this higher power, to divine presence that I understand to be Jesus Christ, has given me the capacity of others who have gone before us, including your father, including Martin Luther King Jr., who said the night before his death, "I'm not fearing any man." I think that there are some who are supposed to maneuver their way through this life without fear, as an example, and hopefully to be a model for so many others. I know that's not for everyone, but for me, I believe so much in the cause of justice. I believe so much in the cause of righteousness. I believe so much in the cause of unity, the unity of the human family, that somehow we are better together as brothers and sisters than we are divided. And for that, I'm willing to fight all my life for it.
Dr. Neighbors, I can't thank you enough for your strength, for your resilience, and your persistence. Dr. Yeary, let me ask you a question. The first 157 July 4ths were all the same, just another day from 1619 to 1863 for African Americans. And then after the Declaration of Independence, another 88 July 4ths that meant essentially nothing, even with a Constitution of the United States, because there was a celebration on one side of town and a commemoration on the other side of town. And yet with the progress that Dr. Neighbors has made, including but not limited to the opening now of the Obama Library to be celebrated on this coming Friday, the Juneteenth holiday. Of course, KBLA's anniversary occurs on KBLA. This July 4th, Dr. Yuri, is unlike any other July 4th. It's as if Frederick Douglass could stand or sit right in the middle of this program and give his oration again. Dr. Yuri, will we ever as a nation celebrate the same holiday on the same day, the same way?
I don't know if we've celebrated it the same day, the same way. We don't get the mail, which means we don't get bills. In the meantime, I think if Frederick Douglass were to be here, he'd probably ask, what's this foolishness? We painted the reflecting pool, got the color wrong. We're building a ballroom, and for whatever reason, we feel like we're going to fit the masses of people that made up the largest attendees at any presidential inaugural are going to fit in this ballroom. The insanity is just baffling. It's mind-boggling as to how much sanctioned stupidity can come from what is supposed to be the most organized government on the face of the planet. And so I think we are facing a great deal of maybe quiet ridicule, simply because the president is unhinged and continues to be so. But I think quietly, those who have good sense and know they have good sense, Mama called it common sense, have figured out that the pig is grunting. And so at this point, we've got to keep up this fight. This year, it just means that the fight continues. We've never gotten full acknowledgement of liberation, both in terms of practical, legal, social, political stance. We have made some progress, but we are in the throes of great resistance. But let me get this last thing in before you ask for a word of hope, because I know Dr. Neighbors teaches homiletics at my alma mater, the Garrett Evangelical Theological Seminary on Sheridan Road in Evanston, Illinois. Since I know that he's got something in mind for Sunday, I'm going to ask him to give the word of hope so he can inform what my sermon's going to be on Sunday morning. I figured I'd get that in before you put me on the spot. That's all I got.
Dr. Neighbors, Reverend Dr. Yuri has put you on the spot. We have about 3 minutes before the end of our show. And Dr. Neighbors, if you could also share with us, for those members of the media who are listening to our program, how they can reach you. There is great interest in this story. And also, please, consistent with what Dr. Yuri has said, share with our listeners during this period a word of hope.
Jesse, thank you so much. And Dr. Yuri, thank you for putting a brother on the spot. I appreciate that. But let me share, the way that folks can get involved is obviously in Evanston, we are rallying our sources. And I'm certain that the government is not aware of the power that Evanston has as a community. A part of that power is our interfaith community. There are white ally churches that have given over $1 million and their own money to reparations funding in the Evanston community. There are clergy and there are congregants that are really, really focused, that are of every denomination, and also the 2 synagogues that are in the community. So I would say making sure that they are, folks everywhere are involved with houses of worship, if they are in one, and getting them to write letters of support, write letters to their editor, write letters to their congresspersons to talk about the need for reparations in Evanston to continue. For me, a word of hope for Dr. Yuri, I would say that I'm going to be focusing on fathers. It's Father's Day this Sunday, so my text is going to be about the father of the son that was labeled a demonic son, and the focus is going to be when fathers ask for mercy. So I think that when I think about that, when I think about mercy, I believe that mercy is on our side. Jesse, I believe that grace is on our side. I believe that we have an opportunity in Evanston to show our nation and to show our world what a community that is striving to be beloved is able to do. We can overcome adversity. We can stand up to big bullies, whether they be the president of the United States or his administration. We are against all forms of hatred in Evanston. We are against all forms of political abuse in Evanston. We are a progressive and powerful metropolitan municipality that is dedicated to building beloved community, and we're not going to stop. We are going to support our Evanston reparations reparations. We're going to support the dozens and hundreds of reparations efforts that are going on around the country. And we will stand up to a government that seeks to invade with a pernicious kind of prejudice, the kind of progress that can be made when people work together, when they love together, when they worship together, when they serve together, and if need be, when they are persecuted together as well. We can do that.
Thank you, Dr. Neighbors. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward right here on KBLA.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica,